Good morning. How's everyone today? I wanted to get on today. It's Carolyn, Holistic Anxiety Coach. I wanted to get on today and talk about the topic of how to get off of the anxiety struggle bus. I have seen a lot of things in my group about, accepting anxiety and maybe some confusion about what that means or, of course, how to do it, right? So I'm going to just take a minute real quick here to share this into my group. And so if anybody hops on, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. All right, let me share. Okay. All right, very good. And so this is really important to anyone that is struggling with high levels of stress and anxiety, because I remember I felt that I was missing out on my life, right? When you're always having that struggle with your anxiety and your symptoms of anxiety, a lot of times you just straight up don't go to different things that would normally be something you'd want to do. I mean, maybe big events in the family, or even it's just out with friends, and it just feels kind of so lonely and isolating, right? And then even when we do go to different things, a lot of times we're not really present because we're in our head having this struggle with our anxiety, and it takes away from the feeling of the freedom we want to live our life. So if this resonates with you, let me know. I'm thinking that, let me check something here. Okay. So if this resonates with you, let me know. Another thing that I know, even when I was just at my own home, for me, I guess I didn't feel even present in my own life at home with my family or with my child. And just that feeling is so frustrating. It's just takes away from, you don't feel like you're living your life. And I don't want anyone to feel that way. And it's just so freeing when you can get away from that. So I want to talk about how to get off this struggle bus. So as I said, in my group, there's been a lot of talk between members and stuff about accepting your anxiety, accepting your physical symptoms. And that can be a little confusing. And I know when I first kind of heard about this, I was like, I don't think I want to accept this. Because number one, it feels dangerous oftentimes. It feels like there is something wrong with me. Sometimes I would straight up feel like maybe I'm dying. And I know that I've had many clients that feel the same way. So I know this is super common. You're not alone if you feel this way. It happens a lot. For people having anxiety and having some of those really intense anxiety symptoms that can be different for everybody, but there are some common ones, with the racing heart or dissociation or feeling like you're going to faint, and so there's a lot of common symptoms that people will get with anxiety, stomach upset, those types of things, right? So when you're in a state of dealing with feeling that way, the natural reaction is to really focus in on it because it feels dangerous and you feel like I want to figure it out and fix it, right? So what I mean by acceptance is not just to say, oh, but this is how I'm going to feel the rest of my life and I just have to accept that, because that's not true. And that's not the case. You don't just have to think that that's going to be your rest of your life. We're not made to live that way. But okay, I've got Kristen here. She's saying one of my symptoms is I just quit talking. Like I want to talk, but I can't get the words out. Yes, that is normal, because it's, for me anyways, it was kind of just like you become so in yourself that, okay, so like the part of your brain that's sending off these signals of danger, 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 that's in charge of keeping you safe, that creates all this anxiety, is, you know, really primitive part of the brain. It's like the reptilian part of the brain. And when that brain is part of the brain is really activated, your prefrontal cortex, your thinking part of the brain, your decision-making part of the brain, is turned off. So it's not unusual to not be able to make decisions, to feel really foggy, to feel like you can't hold a conversation, just kind of feel really out of it. If that's kind of what you're getting at, I can relate to that. And I kind of really don't even want to have a conversation when I'm feeling that way, because your brain is otherwise occupied. It's occupied with other thoughts, right? So it's hard to hold a conversation. It's just like, just leave me alone, I don't want to talk. That's how I felt. So it's, in order to get out of this, when I talk about acceptance, I don't mean, again, that, okay, I'm just going to feel like this the rest of my life, because that's not true. You're not. If you can take these steps to move forward, you won't feel like that the rest of your life. You're not made to feel that way, but this is a normal part, you know, a normal reaction in this brain. Anxiety is actually a normal emotion, but when we feel the anxiety, and people who tend towards it will feel it, they'll start to feel the symptoms, and they become focused in on that, and that creates more and more anxiety. So that's what I mean when I say to accept it will get you out of that anxiety faster. So I have a couple of analogies that I've heard that I'm going to share with you all to kind of explain this. So one would be like if you have a beach ball, and your beach ball is all of those anxious thoughts and feelings that you have going on, and you're, you know, on a nice summer day, you're, you know, in the pool or you know, playing around, and you've got your beach ball, and it's right there in front of your face, and you can't, you know, see around it. You push it, you try to push it down, push it under the water, just push it as far as you can, because you're resisting it, right? You're trying to push those symptoms, those feelings, those anxious thoughts away. And when you do that, eventually what happens? That beach ball pops back up, right? And smacks you right in the face. That's kind of like your anxiety. It doesn't work to try to push it, avoid it, and it's just kind of perpetuating it when you do that. So another analogy that I really liked was, say you have an object like a piece of paper. I wish I had a piece of paper right here. So you have this piece of paper, and if you are struggling to push that piece of paper away, you have it in your hands, you're pushing, your arms are getting tired, you just keep pushing and pushing and struggling to push it away, it's going to be very distracting. You're not going to be able to focus on what's going on around you. You're not going to be involved in your life. You're focusing on pushing this away, right? Same thing as if you're bring it right up to your face, and they're just examining it and trying to figure it out and all of that kind of thing. Then again, what do you see when that paper is right in front of your face? You don't see what's going on around you. You're not interacting. Your life, it becomes this anxiety, right? Now, if you take that same piece of paper and just set it into your lap, it's still there, but now you're able to be present with what's going on. You're able to connect with loved ones. You're able to, you know, just be present and see and be involved in your life and see what's going on. So when we can learn, and there's techniques that I go over with my clients, and it takes practice, it takes persistence, but then it starts to become easier and easier. But when you can start to learn to accept these symptoms, then you're going to notice your life open up to you in a whole new way. You're going to notice the symptoms will subside much faster. But if your goal is to get the symptoms to subside, if I just don't pay attention to it, the symptoms will subside, and that's your goal, you're again on that struggle with it. You're trying to push it away. It's really learning the art of this acceptance that makes a huge difference. And then you can get moving forward with what's important to you in your life. And that's a great thing, a great tool too that I just want to mention before I go today, is to get really clear on your core values and what's really important to you in your life. So when you're making these decisions to move forward with things, even if you're feeling some anxiety, when you're making these decisions to try to just be with your anxiety and be with those anxious feelings and let them be, that you know why you're doing it, know what you're moving towards. When we lose that, because we're so wrapped up in all this anxiety and what it's brought into our life, it makes it difficult to move forward with purpose. And when you can move forward with purpose and passion, then the journey becomes much more enjoyable and much easier. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. I'm glad you hopped on to watch, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.